Hey everybody! Today we're going to be talking about the metric system. The metric system is just a system of measuring anything you want to measure. And it's used in every country in the world except for 3. We happen to live in one of the 3. Scientists like to talk to each other all over the world, and so scientists have all agreed to use the metric system, and that way everybody's using the same thing. All right, in the metric system, we have some base units. And I'm going to focus really heavily on the 3 that we use in physics class the most. So first of all, we have meters. And meters are used to measure distance. So if I want to know how tall this building is, if I want to know how far is it down to the local store, I'm going to use meters. We use grams. Grams are used to measure mass. We're going to go into more detail on that a little bit later. For right now, mass is kind of like weight. So if I want to know how heavy a package is that I have to mail, I'm going to use grams. If I want to know how heavy one phone is compared to another phone, I'm going to use grams. Maybe you don't care about your phone so much, but if you ever had like a really heavy pair of earbuds, like it feels fine at first and then your ear starts hurting, that would be grams. All right, the last base unit that we use a lot in physics is seconds. And you know this, seconds are used to measure time. All right, meters are great, but sometimes you have to measure something smaller than a meter. And just in case you don't know, meters are pretty big, all right? Meters are really, really close to a yard. A doorknob is about 1 meter off the ground. So that's great if you're measuring like a classroom or something, but if you want to know how big a phone is, then you need something smaller than a meter. And in that case, what we do is we have a prefix that can make it a little bit smaller. We can say deci. A decimeter is 1/10 of a meter. That's a decimal number. You know what decimals are. You've encountered decimals before. So deci is the first decimal. It is 1/10. So if we have a decimeter, that is 1/10 of a meter. If we have a decigram, that's 1/10 of a gram. And a decisecond would be 1/10 of a second. We usually abbreviate it SEC. But you can also see this abbreviated as just S. Sometimes you need something even smaller than a decimeter or a decigram. And in that case, you can have centi. Centi means 0.01. That's 1 cent, right? If I put a dollar sign in front of this, that's 1 cent, 1 penny. Centi means it's 1/100th. A penny, 1 cent, is 1/100th of a dollar. So that makes some sense. This is 1/100th. So you can have a centimeter. If you've got a metric ruler, if you see the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those numbers are measuring out centimeters. Oops, I should have said deci. No, I'm so sorry, that is centimeters. Centigrams, and you can have centiseconds. Sometimes you need even smaller than that. And in that case, we are going to go to milli. Milli is 1/1000th. Okay, so you're going to take a meter stick and cut it up into 1,000 pieces. You can see millimeter, you can see milligram. A lot of times medicine is measured in milligrams. Like if you take a Tylenol, that's usually something like 500 milligrams. And you might have heard about milliseconds. That's 1/1000th of a second, really small. Blinking takes something like 14 milliseconds, all right? It's really short. Sometimes we need bigger. If we're going to go bigger, we can have a deca something. You know what a decade is. A decade is 10 years. Well, a deca something is 10 of that thing. You can either abbreviate this with a capital D or you can say DK. So you can have capital DM for decameter, or you can write DKM for decameter. I don't care which way you do it. I'm going to say DKG, and I'm going to say DKS. Decaseconds, that would be 10 seconds. If we need bigger than deca, we can say hecta or hecto. I've seen both. Hecta is 100. So you can have a hectometer. That's 100 meters. All right? So you might have heard about the 100-meter dash. That's a hectometer dash. You can have hectograms, or you can have hectaseconds. And the last prefix that we use in the metric system is kilo, K. Now, you have seen K used to represent 1,000 before. I know you have, all right? If there's a car that you want and that car costs $50K, you know that's $50,000. If that house is $200K, you know that's $200,000. If you want to get paid $100K as your salary at a job, you know that's $100,000. K means thousand, and it's because of kilo. It's because of the metric system that K means thousand. So you can have a kilometer. You're going to hear people say kilometer a lot. They're both fine. You can have a kilogram. It's a little bit more than 2 pounds. And you can have a kilosecond, and I'm just realizing I messed that one up. So that would be 1,000 seconds. You can use these prefixes in front of anything you want to, okay? If you've got a kilo dollar, that's $1,000. That would be a nice present, all right? You can have a deci pencil if you take your pencil and cut it apart into 10 pieces. So you can use these prefixes for anything you want to. All right, this is just a brief view of the metric system. You're going to need to know how to convert between these different units, and I have a separate video on that. So go through my physics playlist and look for my metric conversions video. I'll see if I can drop a link in the description below. I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.